Hello and welcome to all of you who are using the Connections program. This past Sunday was Mother's Day, and I began my homily by asking people to share with me some of the things that people do for their moms on Mother's Day and some of the things that people buy for mothers on Mother's Day. So some of the things that people do, they run for the cure in Philadelphia. They take mom to brunch or lunch or dinner. Sometimes they go to the cemetery if the mother or grandmom has died. Some of the things people buy, of course, flowers. $2.4 billion last year is the amount of money Americans spent on flowers on Mother's Day, but also chocolates and things like that. And I think moms really appreciate all that. However, I think what moms most appreciate is a family that's loving one another and getting along with each other. All those other things are extra if a mother's family is splintered or fractured, or if children don't talk to one another. And that's a little bit behind the gospel today. The gospel today is very, very interesting. It's taken from St. John's Gospel, and we know St. John's Last Supper is very different than Matthew, Mark, and Luke. In St. John's Last Supper, Jesus looks the disciples in the eye for a full 3 chapters and teaches the disciples about the great themes of his past 3 years. In chapter 17, something happens. Jesus looks up to heaven, directs his gaze to heaven, and then begins to pray. And in this prayer, Jesus prays for 3 things. He prays for himself, he prays for the disciples there at the Last Supper, and he prays for the disciples that are going to come in the future. And our gospel today is taken from that 3rd section of the prayer. It's interesting to note what Jesus prays for in this section of the prayer. Jesus prays for unity amongst his followers. Now, this is very different. Jesus never prays for unity amongst his disciples in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, because all of his disciples are one. The church is united. It's a single body. But fast forward 10 years to when St. John writes his gospel, and something has happened to the church. By this time, the church, the Christians, are separating from each other. There's division and tension within the church. And St. John remembers that on the night before Jesus died, Jesus prayed for unity. And St. John includes that in Jesus' prayer. So, this is what I'm hoping everybody will know about the gospel this week. That Jesus prayed for oneness and unity among his disciples. Jesus prayed for oneness and unity among the disciples. Well, we have to acknowledge a sad reality in our church. Jesus' prayer doesn't seem to have worked. There are serious divisions among Christians. There are Catholic Christians, there are Orthodox Christians, and there are Protestant Christians. And Catholics and Protestants and Orthodox have actually killed each other in the name of Jesus Christ. Not only that, but there are divisions within the Catholic Church. There are divisions within the Orthodox Church and within the Protestant Church. And this breaks the heart of Jesus Christ. He prayed on the night before he died that all of his followers would be one. And so we have to acknowledge that that's not the case. So, this is what I'm asking all of us to do this week. Do something to foster oneness and unity among Christians. Do something to foster oneness and unity among Christians. Do not wait for Pope Francis and the big Catholic Church to do something for oneness and unity. Don't wait for Archbishop Chaput and the Archdiocese of Philadelphia to do something to foster unity and oneness. Don't wait for myself or for the parish of Saints Peter and Paul to do something to foster oneness and unity. You be proactive and you do something to create unity within our church to bring about the oneness that God asked for. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what you could do. The first, this week, go to a non-Catholic church or go to a non-Catholic service and attend it. Okay? Get out of your comfort zone. There are plenty of non-Catholic churches around here, Protestant and Orthodox. Get out of your comfort zone and visit the church or attend one of those services. You may not be able to do that within the week, but put it on your calendar. Next, we all have friends who are Christian, but they're not Catholic. Well, have a good conversation with a non-Catholic friend, with a Protestant friend or an Orthodox friend, and share your faith with them as a Catholic, and let them share their faith with you. Christians celebrate and share a lot more in common than what keeps us apart. So be proactive and have that good conversation with a non-Catholic Christian friend. Finally, here's something that you can do. Write a card or drop a note to a non-Christian minister and thank him or her, for committing to being a minister in their church. Maybe you want to drop off a little card for them or a little gift. Buy them a Wawa gift card. But do something to acknowledge the good that some Protestant ministers and Orthodox ministers around us are doing, and take some initiative, and that will also start to create the oneness and unity that we want within our church. Thanks very much.